Welcome back. You tuned in to Market Fatafat, where we are getting you all the stocks that are in focus today on the back of news flow or on the back of technicals. And now on the technicals, we're joined by Ruchit Jain, who's the Vice President, Equity Technical Research, Wealth Management, Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Hi, Ruchit. And Gaurav is, of course, joining us back from our research team. Ruchit, hi. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's go quickly get your first pick. It's City Union Bank that you've picked out for us on the charts. Tell us what you see on the charts of City Union Bank. What are the targets?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon. Well, if you look at City Union Bank within the banking space, has shown a good relative outperformance, and in spite of such markets, the stock is trading quite close to a breakout, which is above 185. So this is one stock where traders can keep them on radar, and if the stock manages to surpass that 185 level, then we could see an up move of about next 7 to 8% of the higher side. So 185 remains a very crucial level for a breakout in City Union Bank. Even above that, short-term traders can look for buying opportunities.
Okay, so that's a take on City Union Bank, levels to watch out for. Let's move away from that and talk about Tata Motors. This stock is in focus once again. Remember, yesterday it was up 4.5%. It was Nifty top gainer. Today also the stock is doing pretty well. Let's understand what is leading to this up move. What are some triggers? Reports suggest that UK and US may announce a trade deal on Thursday, and JLR likely has resumed shipment to the US after a month's pause as well. India and UK have signed a trade deal to help JLR increase their volume in India as well. So that is also something that's positive for the stock. The company has also received shareholder approval for demerger of CV and PV business, like we were talking about yesterday, and that's going to lead to value unlocking. The stock is still lower by 41% from its 52-week high. So of course, investors are seeing some room for growth when it comes to Tata Motors, and that's the reason why for the second day in a row, Tata Motors is in focus, has given up some of those initial gains. Like the rest of the market, it has fizzled out, but nonetheless, it was holding on to some solid gains in the first half of the trading session, but still looking decent at a 1% uptick almost coming in for Tata Motors.
Alright, Tata Motors there in focus today, almost trading with gains of 1%. But coming to you, Gaurav, PNB is the name that you picked out for us, an earnings candidate. Tell us, what does the earning look like for PNB?
Well, yes, when we talk about Punjab National Bank, we saw a weak set of numbers from the bank in this quarter, because when we look at net interest income, that increased only by 4% on a year-on-year basis. In fact, when we talk about net interest margins, we saw a compression of around 12 basis points on a sequential basis, and that was led by higher deposit cost and softening of the loan yields. Other than that, when we look at the asset quality, there also we saw some of the concerns. We got slippages that increased almost by 50 basis points sequentially, and that was driven specifically by the agri and SME segments. Advances growth, on the other hand, actually remains strong for the bank at around 13.6%. But for FY26, the bank has maintained the guidance of advances growth somewhere in the range of 11 to 12%, and that will be largely led by RAM segment. In fact, when we look at the credit cost, they have increased their credit cost guidance somewhere in the range of 0.5% versus what it was at 0.25 to 0.2 to 0.25%. When we look at the brokerages also, they are being a little pessimistic, because Investec has now cut their target price to 85 rupees, because what they are saying is that when we look at valuation, it is at an attractive level, but ROA is going to moderate to 0.8%, and EPS triggers are not much for the bank. As a result, when we look at stock performance, it is under pressure, so definitely watch account of PNB on the back of weak set of numbers.
Okay, so that's PNB on the back of a weak set of numbers. That stock is in focus. Ruchit, we'll come to you. You've picked out Coforge for us on the charts. This stock has been abuzz quite lately, and last 6 months, however, it's seen a cut. But last 1 month itself, a sharp 21% uptick is what the stock has seen. Tell us, how is this stock placed on the charts now, given this sharp rally that we've seen, such a sharp rally in the last 1 month itself? Do you believe now time for some slowdown, or do you believe this is sustainable going ahead?
Yeah, so IT space as a whole, we have seen a significant underperformance. When there was nervousness with relates to related to the tariff in the US. But since that uncertainty has reduced now, selective IT names have started witnessing good price volume action. Within Coforge is one where we have seen the price of moves getting supported by good volumes over here. So I think here the price-wise down move seems to be over, and we could see a slow and gradual recovery for the stock to head higher towards 8300, 8350 kind of levels. The stock is also trading above its 20-day support since last few days. So it seems that the Coforge in such volatile markets also should do better and should head higher towards 8400 kind of levels.
Alright, let's go forward on the charts, but moving on to the next counter that is in focus today on the back of its earnings, it's Voltas that has posted its quarter Q4 numbers. Let's take a look at the numbers. The profit has seen an uptick of 113% on a year-on-year basis to 235 crores versus 110 crores on a year-on-year basis. The margins have also seen an expansion of 245 basis points at 7% versus 4.5% on a year-on-year basis. Revenues also saw an uptick of 13% on a year-on-year basis, and the EBITDA is also up 74.6% on a year-on-year basis at 332 crores. A good set of numbers coming in for Voltas, but it has given up all those morning gains, has succumbed to the market pressure right now. Again, another counter that is reeling at the day's lowest point right now under selling pressure with cuts of 1.3%.
Okay, so that's a Voltas in focus on the back of mixed earnings coming in. Ruchit, we'll come to you. Bank of Baroda is the stock that you've picked out for us. Tell us what are the next levels you're watching for on this stock, and it's been a recent earnings candidate as well, but that's in the fundamentals. On the technicals, tell us what's the answer.
Yeah, so on the earnings day, day before yesterday, we did see very sharp correction where the stock fell down by about 10%. Now, what we are seeing is now there is a follow-up selling as well, where the stock has breached its 50% retracement support of the previous uptrend. So this seems that the stock should continue its down move in the near term. Maybe 210, 208 is the level where we expect the down move to continue. So just a sign of cautious to avoid any kind of bottom fishing over here. Any existing long positions, I think now we should look to lighten up from Bank of Baroda, as we could see a continuation of the.
All right, moving on from there to Gaurav, you picked out Lupin for us. Tell us what's the news flow here.
Being that the company has now launched a new drug. Now this drug will be launched in the United States market, and this drug is used for the treatment of partial onset seizure for the patients of 4 years age and above. When we look at the drug, it is actually a crucial part, because now what Lupin has said is that it is one of the first ANDA applicants, and at the same time company is also eligible for the 180 days of the share in the generic market exclusively. Other than that, when we look at the drug specifically, the market opportunity size for this drug is estimated to be around $395 million in the US market. So definitely a new drug which has been launched by Lupin, and on back of this, the stock is in focus. When we look at the stock performance, in fact, the stock is currently under pressure on the other hand, but definitely watching out on the Lupin's performance in days coming ahead on the back of the new drug launches that they have announced today.
Okay, positive news flow, but Lupin has also given into market pressure. Let's just focus on that and talk about a stock that was doing very well. Let's see where the stock is right now, given the way the market is falling. And well, yes, RBL Bank also at the day's lowest point, giving away all of the gains it had accumulated earlier in the morning. But the news flow is positive, because RBL Bank has announced the appointment of Kumar Ashish as President Head of Retail Assets and Collections, and Himanshu Mishra as National Head Branch Banking, reinforcing its commitment to bolstering its retail banking segment. Now, a little bit about these people. Ashish Kumar brings over 30 years of experience in the banking and financial services industry. At RBL Bank, he will be overseeing the scaling of the retail assets portfolio and lead the retail secured collections divisions as well. He held leadership positions earlier in Aditya Birla Finance, Bandhan Bank as well as ICICI Bank. Senior leadership positions coming in, new appointments for the bank, and they're trying to strengthen their retail portfolio segment. On the back of that, RBL Bank very mildly in the green, given up gains of approximately 2 to 3% from the day's highest point.
All right, that's RBL Bank. But moving on to the next counter, which is PB Fintech. Tell us, Gaurav, what is the news flow for PB Fintech?
Well, yes, when we talk about PB Fintech, there is actually a positive news flow which is coming in this company as well. But as we are seeing right now, it is currently under pressure, and the reason being that the market is falling. But when we look at the news flow, the now venture capital firm is actually going to invest around $280 million. It is going to be a seed investment in PB Healthcare. Now, let's not forget that PB Healthcare is their new segment that the management has already emphasized upon in the last few quarters. What they are going to do is that PB Healthcare will be a hospital chain unit for Policy Bazaar, and this will be actually operated by PB Fintech. This is actually PB Health's first tranche in seed funding. So again, definitely a positive news flow here. When we look at PB Healthcare, PB Fintech has already said that they will be investing the amount somewhere in the tune of around 540 crore rupees in the business. And when we talk about the proceedings that will be invested from this new investment, this will actually boost PB Health's initial hospital network, which will be there in Delhi. But as a result, when we look at stock performance, it is currently under pressure, but definitely a positive news flow in PB Healthcare.
Fatafat. As promised, let's keep it going with all the big buzzers in today's trade. But Ruchit, we'll come to you. HAL is the stock that you've picked out for us on the charts. Now, with everything that has been happening on the geopolitical front, defense stocks have got quite a fillip. They have been in focus for the last couple of trading sessions as well. Tell us what's the outlook on HAL last 3 months, almost a 17% uptick coming in on the stock. What are the next levels that you're spotting for this one?
So recently also the stock has seen a price up move supported by very good volumes. In fact, not only HAL, many other names if you see such as Mazgaon Talk is there, Bharat Dynamics is there. We witnessed a good price volume action since the first half of April. Now last 4 or 5 trading sessions there has been some minor corrections or consolidation, but there is no volume based selling seen. So we believe that price wise downside seems to be limited in these defense names. Some at current levels also on minor dips. One can look for buying opportunities in HAL. 4330, 4350 is a very crucial support for the stock where 20 DM is placed. Until that support is intact, the price-wise correction seems to be limited, and one should use such declines as a buying opportunity.
All right, buying opportunity on dips on HAL.